Senate Bill 406 by Senator Brass of the 6th and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to professions and businesses so as to require the registration of property owners associations, to provide for renewals and amendments, to provide for appeals, to provide for a state board for review of complaints regarding property owners associations, to provide for review of complaints, to amend Code Section 44-3-232 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to assessments against lot owners as constituting lien in favor of associations, additional charges against lot owners, procedure for foreclosing lien, and an obligation to provide statement of amounts due, so as to provide for authorization of liens and use of assessments, to provide for a short title, to provide for related matters, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Judiciary recommends that this bill do pass by sub. Respectfully submitted, Senator Strickland of the 42nd Chairman.
Provide for property owners associations.
And for other purposes. Okay.
And then we'll review that.
Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Judiciary offers the following substitute to SB 406. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to professions and businesses so as to require the registration of property owners associations, to provide for an exception, to provide for renewals and amendments, to provide for fees, to provide for inspection, maintenance, and retention of records, to provide for records maintenance, to provide for denial, suspension, and revocation of records, to provide for notices and orders, to provide for hearings, to provide for referees, to provide for reports, to provide for appeals, to provide for a state board for review of complaints regarding property owners associations, and for other purposes.
Mr. President, Senator Brass of the 6th offers Amendment 1.
Mr. President, Senator Brass of the 6th offers the following Amendment 1.
Amend the Senate Committee substitute.
Amend the Senate Committee substitute by inserting on line 396 after arrears, quote, provided such amount is at least $2,000.
Mr. President, Senator Rahman of the 5th offers Amendment number 2 to the Senate Committee substitute.
Mr. President, Senator Rahman of the 5th offers Amendment 2, amending the Senate Committee substitute by striking on line 395 beginning with, quote, the lesser, and ending on line 397 at, quote, fines, inserting, quote, $10,000. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Senator from the 6th. This bill's already giving me problems and you ain't even presented it yet. Well, come on down here. Explain your mess to us.
Well, Mr. President, I'll tell you the mess we have. The mess we have is with our system right now. The laws we have on the books to protect property owners that are in associations in this state is an absolute mess. So you're exactly right. So this bill is the HOA bill. Many of you know of it. Many of you heard of it. You've heard from your constituents. So what this bill addresses, we're going to add accountability, transparency, and fairness. We're going to do that in several ways. Number one, HOAs, POAs, COAs moving forward will register with the Secretary of State's office. They will register their financials, their bylaws, their officers, and then the address of which their association is located. And this does a couple of things. Number one, it adds the transparency. We've heard issues from constituents that can't get a hold of their bylaws, they can't get a hold of their financials, And so when filing them with the Secretary of State, they'll be subject to Freedom of Information Act and Open Records Act. So anyone can obtain them. The other part it does, if there's a HOA, POA, COA out there where everyone is happy and merry and there's no problems, they don't actually have to register. They just send their letter to the Secretary of State's office saying they exist. And that letter will allow them to collect dues, and it will allow them to collect an assessment. They cannot do fines or fees, but they can exist, and people can coexist, and we're not really making any of these associations do anything that they aren't already doing, or at least that they should not be doing. Because all of them should be keeping up financials yearly, keeping up their bylaws, and keeping up with their officers. The only added step we're going to do is that they have to upload that information into a portal with the Secretary of State's office, and then they will pay $100 yearly to renew that. The other thing we're doing, and we've heard many problems of when there's a grievance between a property owner and their association, the only recourse they have is to go to court. Well, the problem with that is you can't find a lawyer. Even if you can afford a lawyer, a property owner cannot find a lawyer to defend them because the laws are tough for them to win, number one. But B, it's just such a small amount of money that there's just not very many lawyers, if any, that practice in that space. So what it does is it sets up an administrative hearing through a board process, and now that administrative hearing would be the first line of defense. So the Secretary of State will assign an investigator, and then that investigator will look into it and then report their findings to the board, and then the hearing can be requested. Third thing it does is it establishes a property owner's Bill of Rights, and that basically is taking existing laws and putting them under one umbrella so everyone's very clear on what their rights are. And then the fourth and final thing in this bill that it does is right now, if you get $2,000 in the rears with your local association, they can foreclose on your home or your property. And so we're taking that $2,000 to $4,000. That's the first part of that. Now, the other part, you need to understand why the whole purpose of the foreclosure is to make sure people are paying their dues. Outside of that, there would be no way for an association to force someone to pay their dues. And so that's why we've got the language in there, or 12 months of total dues. Now, it has been presented to me that some homeowners associations, their dues might only be $100. They file it annually, and if someone didn't pay that in 30 days, they would be in the rears. So that is Amendment 1 that addresses that. I think it's Amendment 1. Yes, Amendment 1 addresses that. We would insert on line 396 after the word arrears and comma, we would add provided such amount is at least $2,000. So that takes that minimum back to the original law, the current law. So that's the bill. I'll answer questions at this time.
You have no questions, Senator.
All right. Well, I'll speak to Amendment 2. Amendment 2, I'm not on there. There's a few issues with it, but let me tell you the main issue is the people that have been coming up here, our constituents that are coming up here with the issues, they don't have lobbyists. They have us. The other side that doesn't necessarily, some don't want this, they have lobbyists. And so if you do that, right now this bill is drafted where the lobbyists are not working against us. If we add Amendment 2, the very people we're trying to help could get hurt because this bill, we're going to have opposition on the other side. So I would encourage, number 1 will address most of what we're trying to do with 2, not necessarily all of it. But I would encourage your vote on 1. I would encourage you to vote down Amendment 2. And let's pass Senate Bill 406, and let's help these people that have been wronged for too long. Thank you, Mr. President. If I still don't have questions, I'll yield the well.
You have no questions, Senator?
All right.
We have a third amendment. Secretary, read the amendment.
Mr. President, Senator James of the 28th and others offered the following amendment. 3. Amend SB 406 by inserting between lines 257 and 258 the following. No member of the board shall be employed by or have material business interests with the law firm that represents property owners association boards, or be employed by or have material business interests with a property management firm offering services to such associations. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Senator from 28th, I'll just let you speak from there.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senators, this has been a long time coming to see something about predatory HOAs. My district and Georgia, not just the metropolitan Atlanta district. So we've had 5 hearings, and each time more and more people come and we cannot hear from all of them. They're having problems. The media didn't know whether we were telling the truth, so they started going interviewing people. And so now they see that we have to do something because there's no oversight on these HOAs and COAs. When you go and buy your home and in the closing, you get a form, another contract that you have to sign, and it is HOA or COA. So we've tried to listen to everyone and do something to help them. The biggest concern was the liens that they have on property. And most of those liens, once you, as the author of the bill said, what, is it not true? What? Can y'all please let me?
Yeah, you're speaking on your amendment.
Excuse me, I'm speaking on my amendment. And as I said, people, once you get $2,000 worth of liens, which is very easy to do, it does not have to have anything to do with your regular fees. It can be the grass was too high and they cut it and they charge $800 instead of what your person who come to your house would have charged $75, less than $100. So it's just really bad. They had no way of dealing with this but going to a lawyer, and as the author said, no lawyer would take their case because the management companies are over it, and most of them are lawyers. And most of the land that's being, I say, taken from people is being bought up by corporations and foreign corporations at that. So we brought forth this bill, and then people in the who have been coming to most of the meetings wanted this particular clarity on this bill, and that is why I'm offering this amendment. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer it, and I just urge you to just give homeowners in your district, not just mine, to a chance to at least keep their American dream. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Senator. Recognize Senator from the 5th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dear colleagues, I know this amendment 1, 2, I have an amendment 2 coming in. I'm not a lawyer. I guess some of the stuff we're going to go through, some of it not going to go through. But plain from my heart, as we're speaking today about this bill, I get a message earlier today that somebody, my constituency, got a $3,000 behind on HOA fee, and they got a letter that we are referring to the attorney for foreclosure. Do you think it's right? I want you to think, and we're talking about, we do respect with the, rules chair, and that, we work out with, the other side or somebody outside the lobbies, they're not gonna like it, whatever it is. Lobbyists don't vote for me. I have a constitution, they vote for us. And we all have constituencies that going through this. Maybe not all of them. That's why my amendment, I put it in, at least we put foreclosure amount to up to $10,000. I think it's be crazy to think, we talk about affordability and all these things rising, think about it. Somebody can owe $3,000 and refer to foreclosure their property, losing their house. That's insane. If you don't think that's insane, I want you to think it again. That's all I have to say. This is a good bill. This is a good bill overall. We have nothing right now. I'll take this anytime. This is a good start. We have a lot of mechanism right now for the homeowner to go somewhere, to complain. Now we don't have anything. So I support the overall bill, but I just want you to think about it. We should not put our citizen in a position that you owe $2,000, $3,000 and you can lose your house. That's all I have to say. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the word.
Senator's yielded. Would you like to speak? Recognize the senator from the 31st.
Mr. President, I just want to excuse the senator from the 20th for business inside the Capitol. I'm sure he's missing this glorious debate right now.
All right, without objection, senator from the 20th is excused. Does any other senator wish to speak on this measure? Senator from 38th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I rise in strong support of this bill. This is possibly the most important issue in my Senate district. I've gotten so many emails, calls, being stopped in the hallway by folks who have horror stories about their HOAs that have gone rogue. And I want to emphasize that this is not to penalize HOAs. I live in a community that has an HOA, but we also have to understand that many folks across this state and across this country, home ownership is that one thing that we all can agree on, is that American dream, that we can show that we have arrived, we are successful, we are providing something to last beyond our time here on earth for our families. And when we have a threat to that by folks taking power too strongly to their heads, we have to protect that. And so I just want to show my appreciation to the senator from the 28th and the senator from the 6th for working on this super important issue. I have attended community meetings, and we all know we've been in community meetings, and sometimes we're lucky to get a few people, but whenever I talk about HOA reform, the room is full. And so there are folks that we represent that we are standing up for and fighting for and bringing this bill forward. And so I strongly urge folks in this chamber to support this bill, because what we're doing is protecting home ownership, and we are not penalizing HOAs that are doing the right thing. I think that is very important for us to express here, because there are lots of folks that are doing this on a voluntary basis, that, it's a lot of work to serve on an HOA. You get a lot of complaints, and you don't make friends by getting on an HOA board. So there are folks that are doing the right thing, but we have to address the folks that are doing the wrong thing, and also understanding that even folks with good intentions can get things wrong. In my HOA, I was getting fined for parking on the street while it's a public street. So that should be something that is left up to the local police agency. But the folks that are on the HOA did not know. That's something that they should not be doing. And so I want to thank the senator from the 56. We had a very quick conversation in the hallway, but I was able to address that. And so the hope with this bill is that we allow folks to better understand what their responsibilities are, to have some accountability so that they do have to register with this office. And so I think this is a great bill. It's a great start, and ultimately it's protecting the American dream. And Mr. President, I yield the will. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Would anybody else like to be for the bill? Does Senator from the 6th like to close? Oh, Senator. Oh, Senator from the 36.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I rise in support of this bill, and I really want to thank and appreciate the efforts of the senator from the 28th who has worked for, I've lost track of the years of the effort that she has put in on getting some decent regulation and oversight of these HOAs. So I want to open with that and thank her heartily. And she's worked with constituents from my district who had issues. And it's not only homeowners, it's also condominium owners in buildings. There's rampant abuse of people from bad actors in this world of the HOAs. In a building that I've represented for as long as I've, both from the Senate and as a House member, there has been a takeover of the HOAs where they want to turn it into a moneymaker. You all have all heard of the big frog in the little pond. You will see that phenomenon occurring in the world of the HOAs, drunk with power and also trying to figure out ways to monetize the power that they have in the HOA. I mean, buying up all the parking spaces and then saying people that own condos in the building, you've got to pay me to park your car here. They're unbelievable stories out here. We could go on with the hour is late. We've got a long agenda, and I won't and I own a home and there's no HOA around me, so I'm not personally affected, but I have heard and loud and clear the complaints from people who've been absolutely victimized by folks that see the HOA as a place to get in and be a leader and start monetizing the situation and violating people's rights. So we're way over time in moving into regulating these abuses, and it's an important bill. I agree with the other comments of those who have taken the well on this, but I wanted to share what my experience has been and recognize the leadership of the senator from the 28th who's been a stalwart on this for some years now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator. All right. So now we're at the posture. Would you like to close, Senator? Are you good? Sir? Not really, but I think you got it. All right. We are going to take up the amendments. We're going to do them instead of just going 1, 2, 3, we're actually going to take up Amendment 2 first because it would conflict with Amendment 1. So on Amendment 2, you object. Okay. Well, all right. So Amendment 2, authored by the senator from the 37th, for the 5th, authored by the senator from the 5th. We have objection to it. So all those in favor of Amendment 2 will vote yea. All opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the adoption of amendment number 2, yeas are 11 and the nays are 40, so this amendment fails. All right, so now we move to amendment number 1, authored by the senator from the 28th. Is there objection to amendment number 1? No objection. Amendment number 1 is adopted. And now amendment number 3. Is there objection to amendment number 3 from the senator from the 28th? Without objection, amendment 3 is adopted. Questions on the We have a late arriving amendment. This is the bill it keeps giving. Senator from the 19th, what purpose did you rise?
Mr. President.
State your order.
Mr. President, is it not true that this is how people feel at HOA meetings?
Oh, man. Senator from the 6th, what purpose do you rise? And I tell you what, you put 4 lawyers together, they can mess up anything. You good? You pulling it? We close debate. All right, close debate. All right, here we go. The question is on adoption of the committee substitute as amended. Is there objection to adoption of the committee substitute as amended? Hearing none, committee substitute as amended is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Question is on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor of the bill vote yea. Opposed nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 53, the nays are 0. This bill, having received a requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute.